We'll be discussing about concurrent managers in Oracle applications. Okay. So prior going to concurrent managers, so we will just make a small discussion about what is a concurrent program and what is a concurrent request. Okay. Because these managers, concurrent managers are responsible to run the concurrent requests, okay, and the concurrent programs. Okay. So before this, we will discuss what is a concurrent program and all. Okay. So a concurrent program, it is nothing but it contains an execution file. Okay, it contains some executable. Okay, so in that executable, there will be some kind of coding. Okay, which is used to run some kind of reports and all these things. Okay, so with the help of that execution file, so your concurrent manager will try to run whatever it is defined in the particular executable file. Okay. So a concurrent request is nothing but some kind of report which is being run by an end user. Okay, so it might be a sales, whatever it is. Okay, it might be some business related reports. Okay, so your concurrent managers are very crucial for your business. Okay, so if your concurrent managers are down, so no end user will be able to run any of the report. Okay, because your concurrent managers are the ones which will be running that particular report. Okay, so you cannot, an end user cannot directly cannot submit a concurrent request or a concurrent program. So he will be given a forms interface. Okay, he will be given a forms interface in order to submit a concurrent program, concurrent request. Okay. So a concurrent request is nothing but it is a request which is being it might be a report which will be run by an end user. Okay, so a concurrent program is nothing but it contains the set of instructions, it contains the executables, it contains the program coding programs and all these things. Okay, so in order to perform that particular sales report. Okay, so it has to fetch some data from the database, right? So the coding, like how what type of data should be fetched from the database. Okay, that type of coding will be residing in the concurrent executable. Okay, so these executables will be attached to a concurrent program. So these programs will be run by an end user. Okay, so the concurrent program is nothing but a concurrent request for an end user. Okay? So in the back end, these kind of concurrent requests, okay, these are completely business related requests. Okay, so these kind of requests will be taken care by managers called as concurrent managers. Okay, concurrent means nothing but it is parallel. Okay, so concurrent managers are nothing but these are the managers which will run parallelly. Okay, concurrent programs are nothing but those are the programs which will run parallelly. Okay, by the end users, which can be run by the end users parallelly. So when there are different types of concurrent managers in Oracle applications. Basically, the important ones are special managers and request processing managers and the transaction managers. Okay. So coming to the special managers, these kind of special managers, okay, these special managers won't actually run the request. Okay, they they are designed for other purpose. Okay, before running the request, so these special managers come into picture. Okay, so there are ICM, CRM, IMON. This ICM is nothing but internal concurrent manager. CRM is nothing but conflict resolution manager. IMON is nothing but internal monitor. Okay, and request processing managers are the managers which actually run the request. Okay, so in order to fetch the data, these request processing managers will be run. So if a concurrent program is defined to run gather schema stats. Okay, so these request processing manager is the one. It means this request processing manager is the one which is going to take care of that particular request. Means this request processing manager will show you the status of the current running program, if it is running or if it is completed, like that. Okay, in the back end. Okay, so if any end user is running any not end user. Okay, let us assume a gather schema has been scheduled. Okay, in the database, so generally we will be running gather schema stats, right? So who will be taking care of the gather schema stats? It's your Oracle processes will be taking care of gather schema stats, right? So there is no concurrent program which comes into picture. So here also there is no concurrent manager in this particular point of time. Your concurrent managers will not run the gather schema stats. It's Oracle background processes which will take care of the gather schema stats, but at this point of time, your request processing manager will show you the status of the job, if it is running or if it is completed, that kind of thing. Okay, so at this point of time, so if you go for another if you go for another request, like if any end user is trying to submit any sales report from for 1 year, for last 1 year, okay, so these kind of information will be the coding related to the report will be kept in one file. So that is nothing but called as an executable. Okay, so whenever any end user is trying to run some whenever end user is trying to run these kind of programs, these executables will be involved from the backend. So that executables are responsible to generate the data. That's it. Okay, so what I'm telling you is, so request processing manager doesn't only process the request. So sometimes if any other process is taking care of your request, it will also show you the status. Okay. Transactional manager, we will discuss it at last. So when I'm discussing about special managers, okay, see, let us, I will tell you one thing. Let us assume you are having only one request processing manager. Okay. One request processing manager. It means you can submit one job. You can submit one job at a time. Then try to understand if 10,000 end users are connected to your Oracle application and 10,000 users are running 10,000 concurrent requests parallelly. So can one request processing manager take care of the job? It's not possible. So what we will do is we will increase the number of request processing managers. Okay. So generally request processing managers are nothing but the standard managers. Okay. Standard managers are nothing but request processing managers. So in some companies, like there are more than 500 plus request processing managers. It means 500 plus standard managers. Okay. It depends on the resources of our CPU, okay, resources on the server. Okay, so basically, generally, people will be going with maximum 50 request processing managers. So it completely depends on the business needs. Okay, so how to set the total number of request processing managers for your business? So we will discuss it in the performance tuning class. So, but as of now, so in general, people will be going with uh, 50 to 100 request processing managers for their business. Okay, so I will tell you, one request processing manager can handle how many number of requests parallelly, simultaneously, like that. Okay, so for how much time it will pick the request and all these things. Okay, yeah. So now we will discuss about special managers. So first we will discuss about ICM. ICM is nothing but internal concurrent manager. Okay. So internal concurrent manager is the boss for your concurrent manager. Okay. So when I am discussing about concurrent managers in the first session, what I have discussed. So concurrent managers need database connectivity to get startup. Okay. To get started, right? So if there is no database connectivity, your concurrent managers will not come up. Why? If there is no database connectivity, why your concurrent managers will not come up? Because your concurrent managers will store the data, means the metadata in the database. Okay, so it means, so for example, how many request processing managers are there? So for how much time the request processing manager should contact the database tables? Okay, so like that, these kind of things. For how much time, how each request processing manager can pick these many number of requests? So these are all we will discuss. Okay. So these are all called as metadata for your concurrent manager. Okay. So definitions. Simply we will call it as concurrent manager definition. Okay. So these concurrent manager definitions will be loaded in the database tables. So if there is no database connectivity between your applications and database, so if you are trying to start your concurrent managers, your managers will not come up because it is unable for your concurrent managers to load their metadata. If there is no metadata loaded for your concurrent managers, they will not come up. Okay. So
Okay.
there is a
So
process.
Santosh, a
Yeah.
small question. So
Okay.
this configurations, we do it in a special schema, or or is it like
Apple says.
on that okay, admin schema?
Apple says. Apple says.
Apple says, okay,
Yes.
okay. Thank you. Thank
Basically,
you, sir.
I said right. So there are a couple of ATG products. So generally, your concurrent manager is nothing but FND, Foundation Library. Okay, are you
Okay,
getting the point on your FND? When we are discussing about concurrent managers executables, what is concurrent manager executable? FND LIBR, right?
definitely.
So it is
Yeah,
completely
yeah.
related to FND product. You can also call it as application object library. See, generally AOL and FND both are same. Okay, application object
Okay,
library or foundation both are same. So these belongs to FND product. Okay, FND product doesn't have any individual schema, but FND belongs to Apple's schema. So all these tables which are related to concurrent managers will be owned by Apple. Okay.
okay,
So anyhow, you will be having some grants and synonyms for the apps scheme.
okay. Hmm. Foundation library.
Yeah. Next. So first, what happens when we give a startup? What is the thing which is happening when we have given startup?
So this ICM will, build a bridge between, database and uh, that is what it happens. It will bridge a bridge between database.
Yes. So first when we give adcmctl.sh, okay, first it will try to start ICM, internal concurrent manager. So after ICM got started, your apps listener will get started. Okay. So once the apps listener got started, so your ICM with the help of apps listener will connect to the database and it will fetch the two tables called as fnd underscore concurrent underscore queues and fnd underscore concurrent underscore processes. Okay. So with the help with these two tables are the tables which contains the concurrent manager definitions. Okay. So it will connect to the database and it will get the information from these two tables. Okay. So with the help of the information provided in the two tables, your other managers will start. I mean your conflict resolution manager or your standard manager, whatever, the other managers will get started. Okay. So first ICM will start and then it will bring up all the other managers. So your ICM
Question.
is boss of.
So
This
So when we are discussing about ICM, so ICM is boss for all the concurrent managers. So without ICM, the other managers cannot come up, right? So that is the reason why we call ICM as boss of all the managers. So it will start up and shut down other managers during normal CM startup and shutdown. Okay, when we are starting concurrent managers, so your ICM is the one which is going to take care of the other managers. So this apart from this, your ICM will also perform queue control. So what is the meaning of queue control? Queue control is nothing but it will control the other managers. It means so for every PMON cycle, it means generally the default PMON cycle for every application is 2 minutes. It means okay. So for every 2 minutes, it will check whether all the other managers are up and running or not. Okay. So if all the other managers are up and running, it will evaluate. If not, if any manager is if any manager got down, I mean, like if any manager got terminated by mistake, it got killed by mistake. So your ICM will try to start it up. Your ICM will try to start it up. So it generally acts as like a PMON for your database. So what PMON will do? Sometimes if any dead process, if it found any dead process, it will try to, it will remove the dead process and it will try to start the process again, right? So in the same way, your ICM will also behave. So your ICM will again start again if it finds any dead process. So now, if ICM goes down when all the managers are up and running, it will not impact on business, but queue control cannot be performed. It means so by default, by mistake, if your ICM got down, someone might have been killed. Someone might kill your ICM process so that it can go down, right? So at this point of time, so nothing happens for your concurrent running concurrent requests. Okay, so moreover nothing happens for your concurrent managers, because so if ICM is down, nothing happens. Like if ICM went down, nothing happens for the other managers. The only thing happens is it cannot perform queue control. It means like it cannot check whether any managers are up and running or not. That's it. Next.
So here, if there are jobs are, not running properly, or if they are dead, ICM will not, I mean, those jobs will not be, executed, right?
See
Those
your
requests will not
ICM,
be
yeah,
executed.
your ICM is nowhere related to your requests. It is only related to your managers.
Yeah, but managers will perform those, requests. Concurrent program or concurrent request will be, performed by those managers, right?
Yes, yes. See, concurrent manager is the one which is going to run your concurrent request. Okay. So if ICM is down, nothing happens to your
Right.
concurrent requests and nothing happens to your concurrent managers. Okay. So, but the thing is, your ICM will not be able to check whether the managers are up and running or not. That's it. By default,
Right.
for every 2 minutes, your ICM will check whether all the other managers are up and running or not. If any manager got down, it will try to start the process. Okay. So now if your ICM itself is
Mhm.
down, what happens to the other managers? Nothing happens. So they will be taking care of their own requests.
Yeah. But when the ICM is down, in meantime, if any manager is down,
Yeah, that is
then
what it will not, the manager will be down only. It cannot be started.
yeah.
Yeah.
So how about the new coming requests, or the existing requests? Do we need to manually, do any intervention, or is it like,
We
once
can
the
we,
ICM is up, it will take
See,
care?
if any single manager is down, okay, if any single manager got down, so nothing happens to the other managers. It means like the other requests will be taken care by other managers which are up and running. So if all the other managers are down, what happens? You can restart the concurrent managers, because there is no manager to take the request, right? So at this point of time, you can restart the concurrent managers. Moreover,
Okay.
so you can individually start ICM. So with the help of
Mm-hmm.
start MGR utility, I will show you. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So are you clear till ICM?
Yeah. So these two tables are important, right?
Yes. FND
If
underscore concurrent underscore processes and FND underscore concurrent underscore queues. Okay. Which contains the definitions of the concurrent managers.
yeah.
Next, conflict resolution manager. So what is conflict resolution manager and what does it do? So let us assume there is a concurrent program which is going to modify one table. Okay. Let us assume it is going to perform a DML operation. Okay. So and there is one more table, there is one more program which is going to perform DML operation on the same table. Okay. So can two resources perform a two DML operations on the same resource? It's not possible. In this case, what happens is there will be a chance of database bit locks. Okay, the database locks. So locks are blocking sessions, whatever it is. So at this point of time, if there are database locks on the database, what happens to the performance? The performance will be obviously going down. It means the total time for the concurrent request. Okay, the total time taken for your concurrent request will be increased. So let us assume today it got finished in 1 minute. Tomorrow, if it is getting finished in 5 minutes, what does it mean? There is some issue with the performance, right? So that is what these kind of issues occur. So when both programs are running at the same time, at the same point of time, it means if two if two resources are trying to modify if two programs are trying to perform DML operations on the same object, there will be a chance of deadlocks. Okay, there will be chance of locks. So to overcome these locks, so they have defined one concept called as conflict resolution manager. Okay, so whenever any request is submitted, okay, whenever any request is submitted, so first, for the very first time, your conflict resolution manager will come into picture. Okay, leave about ICM now, because your ICM is responsible to start CRM and all other managers. Now let us assume an end user has submitted a concurrent request. So first CRM will come into picture. Okay, first CRM will come into picture and it will check. Okay, just listen carefully. It will check whether the running concurrent programs are having any conflicts with the program which executed by end user just now. Okay, so there are programs which are running called as ABC, and a new user has performed a new program, a new request called as concurrent request D. Okay, so your conflict resolution manager will come into picture. First your CRM will come into picture and it will check whether the program D has any incompatibilities with program ABC, or else it will check whether it is having any conflicts with the programs ABC which are running, which are in running state. Okay, so if your conflict resolution manager identifies there are incompatibilities between ABC program and the D program, it will keep the program D in hold. Okay, it will keep the program D in pending standby status. So until the program ABC completes. So once the program ABC completes, so what your CRM will do? CRM will release the conflict for your program D. So once the conflict has been removed, it means once the conflict has been released on your program D by CRM, so your standard manager will come into picture and your standard manager will run the request. It will process the request. Is it clear?
Yeah. Yes, Santosh. Basically, it's stopping incompatibility jobs, and once the earlier jobs get executed, it is executing the job in sequence.
Exactly, correct. But it won't wait for all the programs which are running to get completed. It will check
So
whatever the
only
programs which are incompatible to get completed. That's it. Okay.
so we will define that as a
Yes.
DBA. We will define that, and developer will give our as a hint that this is
Yes.
incompatible with XYZ job. Okay.
Yes. As a DBA, we are not aware. We will not be aware like what tables the program is gonna modify, right? So at this point of
Right.
time, your developer will give you a request to keep incompatibilities for so and so programs. So if we set incompatibilities for so and so programs, so when one program is running, so the other incompatible program will be in pending standby state. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the status for the initial status for your concurrent request will be, first it will be going to pending schedule. Okay. Are you getting the point or not? So once you submit a request, the status of the request will be pending schedule. So your CRM will pick the requests which are in pending schedule. So if there are any conflicts, your CRM your CRM will keep the request on hold. It means on pending standby. So once the incompatible program has finished, so it will change the status to pending normal. Now your standard manager will pick the requests which are in pending normal state and it will process them.
Santosh, your voice is not clear.
Now is it clear? Hello?
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Okay. So first the status of the request will be pending schedule. Uh, your CRM will pick the requests which are in pending schedule, and if there are any conflicts, your CRM will keep the status to pending standby. If there are no conflicts, it will change the status to pending normal. So your standard manager will pick the requests which are in pending normal state. Okay. So what is incompatibility? So incompatibility is nothing but if two programs are using same resources to execution, we can't run those programs at a time. So if we do like that, deadlock will occur in order to avoid the deadlock, we are defining incompatibility. So if we define incompatibility, then programs will execute one after the other.
Santosh, I have a question, like, example, what we said, A, B, C, D.
Okay.
Okay. So A, B, C, D are, incompatible jobs. Okay. They are in sequence. A, B is in sequence. C is also in sequence. A is getting executed. Okay. Hello.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. A is getting executed, and I want to complete one job, earlier. Is there any possibility, like, there are A, B, C, D, E jobs. I want to see that, job D should be completed after A. So I want to change the sequence. Like, after A, I don't want it to go for B. I want it to go for D.
Then
Is there
you
any
can,
possibility?
yes, you can increase the priority of the concurrent program.
Okay.
Okay. So there are priorities from 0 to 100. So we will discuss it. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, for every job we can give some priority, Aslam. Based on the priority, it will
Okay.
pick the request when
Okay.
there are 2 requests in pending.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Got it, sir.
Next, internal monitor. So this is the third special manager what we have seen. So in primary node, ICM is the boss. Let us assume you are managing your Oracle application concurrent managers in 3 nodes. Are you getting the point or not? You are managing your Oracle applications in 3 nodes. So it means, what does it mean?
There
So
are
how
three
many? Yeah, tell me how many
IC,
ICMs will be there at this point of time?
3 nodes is, you should have, if you ask me,
Can you
we
tell me
should
the
have,
reason?
hello?
Yeah, can you give me any reason for that?
Mm, uh, why? Because a request will come through ICM only, right, Santosh? For every saying.
See, your requests are
No.
nowhere related to ICM. Your
Sorry.
managers,
No,
only your managers are
my
related to ICM, right?
ICM. Sorry.
Yes.
Right.
So in primary node, okay. So for every, if you are managing multiple nodes for your concurrent managers, there will be one primary node, or else you can also call it as administrative node, because it is a like, that is the node from where we will perform all the activities. Okay. So generally, if your Oracle applications is configured in 5 to 6 nodes, okay, so there will be one primary node. Okay. So generally, your primary node contains your concurrent managers, and it also contains the ICM. Okay. So your primary node contains ICM. It means any concurrent manager got down on primary node, your ICM will try to start it up. Then what about the other managers which are residing on other secondary nodes? Are you getting the point or not? So I'll give you the scenario once again. So you are managing your Oracle applications in 3 nodes. Your Oracle application concurrent managers in 3 nodes. Okay. So in these 3 nodes, one will be primary node. Okay. So whatever the total number of nodes you manage, there will be only one ICM for your Oracle applications. Okay. There will be only one ICM for your Oracle applications. So the node which contains the ICM, okay, the node which contains the ICM is called as primary node. Okay. So your ICM is going to take care of the other managers. It means your ICM is going to perform queue control on the primary node. So then what about the queue control in the secondary node? Queue control is nothing but, if any process concurrent manager got down, generally your ICM will bring it up, right? So your ICM will be only residing on the primary node. Then what about secondary nodes? So that is the reason why there is one more thing called as IMON. IMON is nothing but internal monitor. So on your primary node, ICM will act as boss. Is it correct or not? So your primary node will contain both ICM and IMON, but the secondary nodes, okay, so the secondary nodes contains only IMON. Your IMON will also act as like ICM, okay. So are you getting the point or not? Your IMON will also act as your ICM, but for secondary nodes. Are you getting? But it is for the secondary nodes. So you can see the points over here. In primary node, ICM is the boss. So primary node has both ICM and IMON. So IMON takes the activities of ICM if ICM goes down. Okay. So if ICM goes down, IMON will try to bring it up. So this IMON will come into picture only in multi-node architecture. In single node architecture, your ICM is the boss. Okay. So there is no point of IMON in your single node. Okay. So in your multi-node architecture, if ICM goes down in primary node, your IMON will try to start it up. Okay. So your IMON will also act like ICM. Okay. So in PCP, IMON acts as ICM in secondary nodes. What is PCP? PCP is nothing but parallel concurrent processing. Okay. So there is one small concept called as parallel concurrent processing. So if you have installed, okay, if you install your concurrent managers in multiple nodes, let us assume you have installed concurrent managers in 3 nodes. So there should be some internal connectivity between these 3 nodes, right? It means there should be some internal communication for the concurrent managers in these 3 nodes. Let us assume one scenario for this. So an end user has submitted a concurrent request. You are managing your concurrent managers in 3 nodes. So the manager from which node will try to pick the request? Let us assume a concurrent manager from node 1 has picked the request. So how come the manager on node 2 and node 3 came to know that, will come to know that the node 1 concurrent manager has picked the request? Are getting that you are managing your concurrent managers in 3 nodes. So an end user has submitted a concurrent request. So which manager will pick the request? There is no communication, right, as of now. So in order to establish the communication between the concurrent managers in multiple nodes, there is a concept called as PCP, parallel concurrent processing. Okay. So with the help of parallel concurrent processing, you can enable establish some communication between concurrent managers in multiple nodes. So in PCP, in parallel concurrent processing architecture, IMON acts as ICM in secondary nodes. Okay, it acts as a ICM in secondary node. So generally, your IMON is also going to perform ICM kind of activities, right? So that is what he is going to tell us over here. We will discuss these two later. It is good for load balancing and availability. So when we go for next level, we will discuss that. IMON keep on talking with ICM. So there is some communication, right? So when there is PCP enabled, so like IMON and ICM will be talking each other. If ICM got down, your IMON will try to bring it up. Your IMON got down, IMON from another node will try to bring it up. See, simply like IMON is nothing but like SMON. If one node SMON got down, what happens? In rack, one node SMON got down. What happens? Your other node S1 will try to start the dead S1, right? Here also same. If one node IMON got down, your other node IMON will try to start the IMON of the dead node. It monitors the remote nodes in PCP. Next, request processing managers. So the request processing managers are the managers which will actually process the request, which will actually run the request. So when any end user has submitted a request, what happens? Just listen the sequence, just listen the flow. I am just going from starting again. Okay, so when any end user has submitted a request, okay, now or else I'll start it with managers. So first when you start concurrent managers using adcmctl.sh, what happens? Your adcmctl.sh will try to start ICM of that particular node, So ICM will try to start the apps listener. So with the help of apps listener, it will connect to the database and it will fetch the metadata from the two tables called as FND concurrent queues, FND concurrent processes tables. So once the metadata has been loaded for the other managers, it will try to start the other concurrent managers. So now, as of now, all the concurrent managers are up and running. At this point of time, one end user has submitted a concurrent request. So once the concurrent request has been submitted by the end user, so the concurrent request details with details will get uploaded in a table called as fnd underscore concurrent underscore request table. Okay, so from this fnd underscore concurrent underscore request table, first your conflict resolution manager will come into picture. So your conflict resolution manager will first look into the table and it will check whether any running programs have incompatibilities with the particular program, with the current program. Okay, so if it is having any conflict, it will keep the particular current program in pending standby state.
Santosh, your voice is not clear.
It will keep the program in pending standby state. Okay, so if there are no incompatibilities with the running program, okay, with current program, so it will change the status to pending normal state. So once the program is in
Hello.
pending. Yeah, hello.
Earlier it was like, voice was not clear, Santosh. So from, when you after you said that, conflict manager will come into picture and will check for the incompatibility. If there is incompatibility, it will put it in,
Pending
queue.
standby. Yes, it will
Yeah,
keep it in the
pending standby.
queue. It will keep it in the pending standby. So once
Okay.
the incompatible program has been completed, okay, so it will change the status to pending normal state. Okay, so once if the status of the job is in pending normal state, okay, so your standard manager, it means your request processing manager will come into picture. So your request processing manager is the manager which is going to take care of the request. Okay, so it will change the status to running normal, it will process the request and it will deliver the output to the end user. Is it clear?
Okay.
See, your request processing manager is nothing but your standard manager which is going to run the request. Okay, so already submitted requests are run or processed by your request processing manager. See, the example for your request processing manager is standard manager and custom manager. So
So
it is very, yeah.
it will take only, pending normal jobs. So from that point, it will pick up the request.
Yes, exactly. And it will change the status to running normal. It will change the status to running normal and it will process the requests. Okay. Is it clear? Now my voice is clear.
Yeah, it's clear now.
So coming to request processing manager. So when already submitted request will be taken and processed by this request processing manager. So the example for this request processing managers are like standard manager and custom manager. So the custom manager is the manager what we have defined for our custom program. Okay, so these standard manager and custom managers are very important as these are the ones which are going to uh, run the request. Okay, So now I will show you how to administer concurrent managers. Applications are not working. Concurrent manager administration starts from here. Till now we have discussed what is what. That's it. So what is the purpose of ICM? What is the purpose of CRM? What is standard manager? What is the concurrent program and all these things. But now we will discuss what is how to manage and how to administer concurrent managers. Okay. So first and very important is first you have to check concurrent manager status. So how to check concurrent manager status? So you have to log in to sysadmin, you have to log into front end applications, and you have to go for system administrator responsibility and select administer form. Okay, under system administrator responsibility, administer form will be there. So under administer form, concurrent manager administer. Okay, so simply system administrator responsibility, concurrent manager administer. So here you have to go. So once you click on administer, a forms interface like this will be open. Okay, so this will show you the target and actual process. See the standard manager. So standard manager is running on node 801 and actual processes are 3, target processes are 3, running are 1. Okay, so what you can see over here, so actual equals to target, it means there is no issue, so your standard manager is working fine. So at any point of time, okay, at any point of time, if your Oracle application target, so if your concurrent manager actual and target is equals to same, then it means that your manager, there is no issue from your manager side. Okay, so health of concurrent managers is perfect when actual processes value should be equal to target processes. If not, we must troubleshoot the issue, we must check the issue, what the issue is. When you click on the standard manager, so when you click on the standard manager processes, so you can see over here, so it is showing the 3 active processes. So you can see there are 3 active processes. So if you want to see the standard manager log, okay, if you want to see standard manager log, click on standard manager and go for manager log. Okay, so this is internal manager log, or else you can also call it as internal monitor imon log, and this is manager log. Okay, so manager log is nothing but what manager is doing, what is the total number of requests it is doing, all these things you will see from here.
Santosh, for viewing this log from front end and all those, will the system use a lot of memory?
Yes, it will use, but very little bit. So generally, whatever it is required, it will take, not more than that.
Why? Because basically Java. This is I see written in complete Java, right?
Yes.
So the more windows we open, I'm just guessing it, but I didn't look at the
It
system.
won't affect much performance because whatever you are selecting or here, it's just a basic kind of thing.
Mm.
So log into Oracle applications, go for system administrator responsibility. Under system administrator responsibility, you will be seeing concurrent, a menu called as concurrent. So this is system administrator, Oracle application manager,
Concurrent managers.
concurrent manager, administer. So where you have to go for concurrent manager, administer, concurrent manager, administer. We have again changed the color to purple on that day. Blue. Yeah. So here what are you seeing? Internal manager, conflict resolution manager, output post processor. So these are all the managers. Okay. If you come here, you will also see standard manager. So standard manager, what is there?
Hello.
Three. Hello?
Hello.
No problem. So here you are seeing what? Standard manager, actual and target. So what is actual and what is target? Actual is nothing but the actual number of processes which are defined. Sorry, like
Okay.
target is nothing but that what we define. Okay, actual is nothing but the actual running processes. Are you
Mm-hmm.
getting? So actual is nothing but
Mm-hmm.
current number of processes which are running in your applications. So coming to target, target is nothing but what we define. Okay, what we define for the manager. So you can click on processes. So to see which are the active processes. Okay, these three are the active processes. Yeah.
Santosh, the target is defined and actual is number of running.
Yes.
So, are there any possibilities that actual might be more than what is the target? Well, for example, target is for example it is 2, and actual uh, will it show as 3, like number of running processes.
As
Is
of
there any
now,
possibility there?
there might be some possibility, but I have never came across that kind of situation. And moreover, many number of times you will be seeing target 2 and actual 0.
Okay. And to if you see such thing, like how do you overcome that issue?
Yeah, I will show that.
Okay,
I will
okay,
tell you in
okay.
troubleshooting. Today only I will tell you. These three are the active processes, okay, which are idle as of now, which are not doing any kind of activity. Click on manager log. So what is this? This is nothing but the manager log or concurrent manager log.
Mm.
Okay. So what it is starting this program, it is starting this program, it is showing what is the program and what is the request name and all these things. Okay. So today it has gone through couple of concurrent programs. These are all internal programs which runs by default. Okay. So internal manager log. Internal manager log contains what? what is the manner it is going to start and what is the manner it is going to stop. This is nothing but ICM log file generally. Okay, IMON and ICM are both are same, I said, right? So this is same as
Right.
your ICM. So it is starting, what manner it is starting. So there are three standard managers you have seen, right? So what it has done, it has started three standard managers at 11th August 1222. Just now 10 minutes back when we started. Okay, so that everything will get recorded in internal manager log. So these are all the program definitions. Okay, restart equals to n, diag equals to n, sleep equals to 30, pmon equals to 4. I will discuss about each and everything. Okay, so as of now, so we are discussing about the concurrent manager administer form, target and actual kind of thing. So at any point of time, your target should be equal to your actual. Sometimes, most of the times, you will be seeing actual less than your target. So you have to check for the at this point of time, you have to check for the uh, log files for seeing what the issue is and all. Okay. So if you want to restart any manager, so at any point of time, like your actual should be equal to target. So if you want to refresh the data over here, you can click on refresh button. Okay, so that all the information will get refreshed. Sometimes you will, if you have seen a 0 2, if you have seen standard manager 0 and target as 3, that means your standard manager is down. So you will do some troubleshooting from the backend and you will restart the standard manager again. So still it will be showing 0 and 3 because if you will not be pressing refresh. So once you press refresh button, it will be refreshing with the latest information. So if you want to restart any manager, you can restart by clicking on restart button over here. If you want to deactivate, you can deactivate. If you want to terminate, you can terminate. So the difference between terminate and deactivate is, so if you click on deactivate, the running programs by the manager will be finished and then it will be going to deactivate stage. So if you click on terminate, so by default, the sessions will get killed. Whatever the requests which are running by a manager will get killed abruptly. And once you click on terminate, by the next startup, the managers will come up. But once you click on deactivate, so even though for the next startup your managers will not come up, you have to start them manually. Okay, so this is nothing but concurrent manager administer form. Are you getting the point or not? So with the help of concurrent manager administer, see concurrent manager administer, it means you are administering the managers. So with the help of this particular uh, form file, you can terminate, deactivate, restart. You can check the processes, you can refresh, and you can see what the request it is running. Okay, what are the requests it is running. Click over here and see refresh. Sorry, request.
Santosh,
Yeah. See, currently it is
Santosh,
not
I
running any
have a
request.
question.
This is what we will be doing from the concurrent manager administer form. Okay. So we will go to the document. To check status, you have to go for concurrent manager administer and check actual equals to target. If not, you have to troubleshoot what the issue is. And to see what are all the active processes, click on processes button in the concurrent manager administer form. Okay. So if you want to see which are the running requests, okay, you can click on this button. So you can click on request button to see what are the running requests. If you're having any request running, it will show like this. Okay. So how to submit a concurrent request? You go for concurrent, you go for request, run. Concurrent request, run. Single request or request set. Single request. Request set is nothing but it is a collection of single requests. We will not be defining request sets in general. So a developer will be defining request sets. So I'm running a select whatever the program you want to run. So in options, if you want to print it, so you can select the printer. Okay, so if you select the list of values button, the available printers will be displayed to you. So you can click on OK. As of now, we don't have any printer setup, so no print I am giving. Okay, so submit. Okay, request submitted.
Santosh, is printer setup is our task?
Yes, yes, we will only be setting. Generally, functional or technical will be taking care, but we will be supporting them. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So how to view the submitted requests? So in the same request column, if you want to run, click on run. If you want to view, click on view. If you want to set, you can click on set. So click on view. So all my requests. So if you want to view all your completed requests, click on completed requests and click on find. If you want to see the requests which are in progress, click on my requests in progress and click on find. If you want to see all your requests, click on all my requests and click on file. Okay, so these are all your requests which are run by user sysadmin. Okay, so active users is the one which got completed normal and which you got submitted just now. So other one and others are in pending normal, pending scheduled value. Okay, so in the same view, so if you want to see specific request, it means if you are having any request ID, click on specific request, view request ID, click on find. If you are having concurrent program name, go give submit concurrent program name over here and click on find. If you want to see based on date, it means today's programs, click on today's date. Okay, and click on find. These are all the programs which got submitted today, like that. If you want to find your request based on status, it means scheduled, pending, standby. Phase is pending and status is standby, or else running normal, running normal, normal, like this. You will be coming, you will be getting. See, if it is not showing any results, it means there is nothing. So here you can see a down. Query cost no records to be retrieved. It means there are no records which are in running normal state, like this. Okay. So to fetch the information, if you want to find the request information, you can select over here, find request, my completed request, my request in progress, all my requests, specific request based on request ID or request name, date submitted, date completed, status, phase, requester, and all these things. Okay. You can click on find, like that. Okay. How to check concurrent request status? Come on, request view, like that. Based on multiple strategies he is using, what we have shown. So all my completed requests, like that. Specific request based on request ID, specific request based on name, like that. How to hold concurrent requests? Come on, I have already shown you.
Hold.
Yeah, just run any request. I'm running gather schema stats. Okay, so all schemas. Okay, submit. Request
Run the
submitted.
job.
Submit another request. No. Again, view concurrent requests, all my requests. Fine. What it is showing? Pending standby. The status is pending standby, right? So I am about to tell you something. How to hold? So click on hold request. Okay, it will be inactive hold. Again, remove hold. It will come to pending standby. If you want to cancel the request, you can cancel like this. Okay. So refresh data. completed, cancelled. So you can click on view details to see the details of the program. Request was cancelled by sysadmin, like that. Okay. Diagnostics. So
What diagnostics show?
you can show like what are the parameters you have submitted, at what phase it is, at what status it got cancelled. So who has submitted the request at what time, all this. Okay. So view output, active users. So view output will show you the output of the program. So it will show you who are all the active users in your application, like that. If you want to see the log, you can see view log. So log contains the debug information. So at what phase it is doing, whether it got completed successfully or not, and all this. So see, if you're having a request ID, okay, if you're having a request ID, you can also see the logs from backend. The location is cd dollar apple CSF by dollar apple log. Okay. So here LSF and LTR star request ID star. You got the request ID, right? Open it. What it is showing? It is showing the log file. So so to see the log files, there are two options. One is from front end and one is from back end. From front end, select the request ID and click on view log. You will get the log. If you want to see the output, view output. That's it. From back end, you have to go to the Apple CSF by Apple log location dollar Apple CSF by Apple log location for log files and cd dollar Apple CSF by dollar Apple out for output files. LSF and LTR star request ID star. Whatever. See, this is the output what you got in the output file. Same thing, right? This is on hold. We kept on hold. How to cancel? Okay. Scheduled. See how to schedule a concurrent request. To schedule a concurrent request, so concurrent request run. Okay, single request. So you can give the name out here. Name of the program, and here run the job as soon as possible. Schedule. If you want to run the job as soon as possible, click on it. If you want to run once later, it means if you want to schedule the job, when you want to schedule, so there are three types of things: once, or periodically, or on specific days. Once, at what time you want to run this? It means tomorrow morning you want to run this program. Okay, you can set that tomorrow morning. So if you want to run daily, it means if you want to run daily at 12 o'clock, you can start it and you can end it like this. Run every one day, or else run every month, 1 month, run every 1 hour, run every 1 minute, like that. Okay. Next, on specific days. So when
What
do you
is
want to
the
run?
increment
Huh?
periodically? If you see periodically,
Okay.
there is one option increment date parameters each run. Why is that?
Increment.
Yeah, that parameter. What is that?
So increment date parameters each run is nothing but, so if you are submitting one request at so and so, if you are giving date parameters, okay. So if you are giving date parameters, then you have to click on the increment date parameters each run, so that the date on the concurrent request will get changed to the next submitted date. So let us assume you have scheduled one program at 11th August 2015 and you have scheduled one more program at 14th August 2015. So at this point of time, you are scheduling, okay, you are scheduling a concurrent program with the help of date parameters, right? So at this point of time, you have to select increment date parameters each run, so that the concurrent request will get started on that particular date, and it will also show you the so and so date in the output file. Okay. So periodically, okay, see, just listen. Periodically, what you are doing, you are submitting for every 1 month. Okay. So run every rerun every 1 month, right? So what would be the next date for this? It would be 12th September 2015, right? So that is what he is asking to do. So if you click here, the date will get incremented. If you click here, the date will not get incremented. If you deselect this, the date will not get incremented. So it doesn't contain any. I will tell you, Prakash, leave about application listener as of now. So that comes in a separate topic anyhow. FS and FND Excel. Are you getting the point or not? So whenever you go for periodically, whenever you select rerun every 1 month, so it is starting at 11th August 2015 and it will end at some point of time. So if you click on increment date parameters each run, so after 1 month, so it will increment the date parameter. Okay. So it means the next submission date will be 12th September 2015 and the same will be noted in the log file and output files.
So when we say, run every 1 day,
Okay.
and if you don't check that box, will it not run every day, or how is it like?
It will run every day,
So
but the submission date will be different.
no, Santosh. See, if you say, run every 1 day, okay,
Okay.
1 day, we'll change it to days.
Okay.
Days. Now we are saying that, start at 11th August, the same. Okay.
Okay.
Now if you don't check it, it will obviously run every day, and it will end at, for example, we will say, okay, end at, we will not give any date, so it will continuously, it will run every day, right?
It will run every day.
Okay. Now when we check it, what will happen now?
So if we check it also, the program will run. Okay. So it will show the incremented date. So if you see here, for
Okay.
example,
After
if the value for
completion
the
of
parameter is okay, if the value for the parameter is 25th July 1997, okay, and the interval is monthly, okay, the parameter is adjusted to 25th August 1997 for the next submission. Are you getting?
Yeah, got it. So what it does is it will update the parameter there.
Yes, it will update the
That's
particular current date parameter over there.
right. So it will update, for example, once this job is run, it will say 12th August 2015. And
Yes,
on 12th August, it will say that once the job is completed, it will give 13th August 2015.
yes,
Right? That
yes,
is what it is doing. But if you don't do that, it will show, 11th August only.
yes, exactly, correct.
Right. Yeah, got it, Santosh. Thank you.
So the apply the interval is nothing but, so if you are running every 1 hour, okay, so what does it mean? From the start of the prior run, okay, or from the completion of the prior run. So you are giving 1 hour of interval, right? So if you are starting the program at 12:46, let us assume it is going to end at 12:50. So what it is asking is, so you are, see, just listen, the program is taking 5 minutes to complete and you are giving interval as 1 hour. So it is asking you want to run the program, you want to calculate the interval from starting of the prior run or completion of the prior run. So once after the request has been completed, it will take 1 hour, or else once just now the request has been started, it will take 1 hour gap and it will start the another request. Okay. This is just the simple thing what we can understand. Apply the interval. So for what thing you want to apply the interval, from the start of the prayer run or from the completion of the prayer run. It means, so after just now you have submitted a request, after 1 hour you want to start it immediately, or else once the request got completed, take 1 hour and then run the another request, like that you want to do. So that is what he is asking. So apply the interval in what basis? So basically it depends on the person who is going to submit the request, schedule the request. Okay. So if we don't select end date, so until and until we have cancelled the request, it will run on a regular basis. You specific request. So pending, normal, view details. Active users, so as of now it is in inactive. So periodic starting on 11th August, like that. Request start date is 12:46:42. At that point of time we have started, we have asked to run it every 1 hour. That is how we schedule the request. So you are having any questions?
For me, I don't have.
You don't have, right?
Prakash?
Prakash? It got completed. So one request got completed, right? So see the other request. See, when the date parameter got incremented, right? Why? We have selected over there. Is it clear?
Yep.
So how to cancel scheduled concurrent request? You find, click on that, cancel the request. That's it. Cancelling a request cannot be undone. Continue. That's it. Not more than that. Generally, how you will cancel the request? So you can also cancel the pending request in the same way. How to view concurrent request log file and output file? So you can select either view output or view log, or else you can go to the backend. So there is one more way, like from Java interface also you can see. So concurrent.
Santosh, I have a small question here.
Okay.
See if there are 50, 60 incompatible requests. Okay,
Okay.
so I have not submitted them.
Okay.
There are requests running. Okay, there are 50 to 60 jobs which are incompatible with each other.
Okay.
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 I, mm, so my question is like how can I stop those jobs incompatible? For example, there are 60 jobs, so there are already 8 jobs running. I don't want those related incompatible requests coming in.
Then
So
you have
can I
to,
stop that?
you can disable the program. You can deassign. It means you can undefine a concurrent manager for that. Okay, if you undefine a concurrent manager for a program, so there won't be
Mm.
any manager to run the request, and the
But
request status will be going to inactive manager.
mm-hmm.
Yes, you're asking something.
Okay.
Tell me.
So at the same time, I want uh, my question is bit tricky. I don't know how to put it.
So you can also view a concurrent request output. Okay, you can also view a concurrent request output from the Java interface also. So you go for Oracle Application Manager under concurrent request, click on concurrent request. It will show you. So it will show you this kind of screen. So concurrent request. So you have to, this screen will be coming to you. You have to give the request ID. So once you give the request ID, output will get displayed like this. Okay. So case 3, you can see it from the back end. So as I showed you, you have to go for Apple CSV, Apple log location and star concurrent request ID star. You have to go for the Apple CSV, Apple log star concurrent request ID star, like that. Okay, how to schedule a concurrent request? We have seen this just now. Creating a work shift, we will see this creating a work shift tomorrow. Custom manager and all these things tomorrow. Standard manager. And the other things we will see tomorrow. Let me show. Combined rules and all are not required actually. See, to show you the request ID. So if you give the request ID over here, so it will display whatever it will display the log file and output file for you. So how to enable trace? Okay, how to enable trace for a concurrent program? So just as of now, I'm showing the basic thing. So instead of that one, yeah. So I will enable and I'll disable the trace. So what is enabling trace? So sometimes what happens is, so if your program is not able to run completely, okay, if your program is getting errored out, so from your end, you are trying to make possible, you are trying to do the possible things from your end, but still you are unable to find out what the issue is. So at this point of time, what happens is you can enable trace. Okay. So how to enable trace and what happens if you enable trace? So if you enable trace, what happens is internally a debugging will be enabled. Okay. Internally a debugging will be enabled and each and every small thing. Okay. Each and every small activity performed in for that program will get traced out. Okay. So with the help of the trace, you can identify what the issue is clearly. Okay. Moreover, sometimes your Oracle people also will ask you to enable trace for so and so programs in order to get the debugging information. So if you enable trace for this particular program, okay, so a trace file will get generated in the user dump destination. So our trace location. So how to enable trace? So concurrent program define, go here F11 paste control F11. Okay, here there is an option called as enable trace. Okay, so this, if you enable here, so the trace will get enabled. If you disable here, trace will get disabled. So as of now, I'm enabling trace.
Where will that store it? How can we define that?
What?
The trace file.
I didn't get you, Prakash. I didn't get your slum.
No. We are enabling trace, right?
Yes.
So the trace file, where will that get stored?
User dump dest. So generally, we will be having our alert log, right?
Right.
Database alert log.
Right.
At the same place only it will get generated. So I am enabling trace, and I am saving it, and I am saving it. I have saved. Okay. So I am running the program. This is also one important interview question.
Prakash, or you only? Okay. Running
Completed
normal.
non. Okay. View log. The request completed successfully. Just copy the request ID. see if it's generated on.
Just now it created some files, right? The down files, dbrm.trc.
See, F&D trace, start trace, and end of statement. But this program has nothing to with trace. So the debug options button got enabled when we enable this particular profile option. Okay, when we enable concurrent LO debugging profile option, we have made the value to S, so that we are seeing these debug options. Now click on debug options button. Yes, debug option. Click on SQL trace and select SQL trace with binds and waits. Click on OK. Okay. Now go to the concurrent program. This one. So submit. Click on submit. Submit under request. No, one is enough. Fine. Running normal. Now go here. So it is the active users, and this is the trace file it got generated for us. CD. Okay. So LSFN LTA 15211. It is clearly showing, right? 15211 is the file which we got generated. There is one.
Santosh.
Yes. So in order to enable trace, so first you have to enable trace in the backend. Okay, in the sense like you have to enable trace for the program. So this is an option for you in order to enable trace with SQL binds and waits. Okay, with this particular program you can find out some, you can debug some more information. This is how we enable trace. Okay, it got converted, so it is showing some things in the file. Okay, so if you want to enable trace to the core level, so you have to enable with SQL binds and waits. Okay, so that the related information will get over here. Some internal uh, debugging will be enabled when you go for this option. When I just check the query like enable trace, it is showing, and moreover here we have seen like uh, for the previous ones the trace flag is no. So for the current one the trace flag is yes. So that is the reason like I just checked over here. So with that I came to know like it has to get, the trace has to be enabled for the concurrent program in order to enable trace at the SQL binds and waits level. Okay. So